too also has to do with energy as well. And that is that I have heard that energy is translated, again, if we'll use negative energy that somebody may have, translated into other inanimate objects that they may be around, such as furniture that they may sit on, clothing that they may wear, etc.
We're not going to disagree with that, because everything, an artist who is in joy and paints a painting, only those who are in that mode will connect with that painting on that level. And if an artist has painted something in misery, only those who are in misery will connect with that painting. Things do, because everything is energy, and things are influenced by the energy that is offered. There's no question about that. But that would just drive you crazy. All you have to do is get into the receptive mode and attract to yourself the things that match that energy. It's so much simpler, rather than trying to figure out what the energy of anything is.
I'm not trying to do that. It's just something that I desire to know. And the reason...
Someone said to us one day, many years ago, I've moved into a house and it feels awful. I sense that something bad happened in this house. And I've been advised, he said, by some others to light some sage on fire and do some rituals and do something to drive away this evil energy, was the way he was putting it at that time. And we said, or you could just get happy and fill the place up with you. Because your attention to it causes you to meet it on that level, and then it doesn't matter how much sage you're burning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, in effect, unless somebody is on that level, it doesn't really matter.
For a while we were talking about these vibrational discs and how they feel, and there's the discouraged disc, and Esther thought it was like the 7 dwarves of discs. You know, there's grumpy and sleepy and happy, and no one can jump on your disc. You only meet those that are at the same vibrational level that you are. So if you find yourself surrounded by or having experiences that feel discouraging, that's the disc you're on. Nobody jumped on your disc and discouraged you.
Right. So just need to explore this for just a bit longer, because I feel I truly feel I know I'm on a high flying disc. I feel absolutely
Often
fabulous.
you are. Yes.
Especially recently, with my attention to your wisdom persistently.
With your attention to the way you feel and your desire to feel good.
Thank you.
Yes,
indeed.
Yes.
My question now more relates to others who aren't necessarily aware of energy being translated into inanimate objects, and for those that may then get them, whether it be secondhand clothing stores or Craigslist or whatever.
Esther bought a truckload of Chinese antiques and put them in her home and in her center building in Texas. And when she first saw them, she was captivated by them and infatuated by them and in love with them. In other words, she was tuned in, tapped in, turned on when she found them. She picked them with such joy and relish. Everything unfolded so magnificently, the way they were hauled over and set around, in other words. And then Esther thought about what hardship maybe some of them had been through. Some of them had been painted in green paint in order to disguise the value of them, because they were made with very important woods, and they couldn't get out of the country if someone knew what they were. This was the story that she'd been told about them. So after she received them and she began looking at some of them that had been restored to their natural beauty, although they are very, very old, Esther wondered about them, and we said to her, there has been a lot of attention on these because they are very, very old pieces. So there was the original artist who was inspired to it. There was the carver. There were the creative geniuses that put it together. There were the engineers that put it together with no nails, with only pieces of wood that were intricately carved so that they could fit together. And then there were the artists who painted it, and the artists who adored it, and the artists who loved it. And did this furniture fall on some hard times for a while? Undoubtedly it did. And what was going on during that time? And did these inanimate objects pick up vibration depending upon where they were? Of course they did. But what energy do you want to harmonize? In other words, you could meet someone who had a terrible childhood who is now joyful. Do you want to talk about their childhood, or do you want to focus on their joy? Absolutely. And so all of these things have layers of energy. Even the components that they're made from have energy. The paint that has been put upon them has energy. The intention of everyone who has enjoyed them has energy. We said to Esther, just the appreciation of these shop owners who have adored this property for as many years as they've adored it, because Esther had been seeing the furniture in there for many years. She just did not have a place that was asking for it. So many of these pieces Esther was aware of. She and Jerry had visited them there on many occasions. You get to decide what aspect of anything you tune to. Nothing has any capability of reaching you except for the vibration that you are offering. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it, did it make a sound? No. If there is not a receiver that matches the offerer of the vibration, then there is no experience, you see. Yes. So we wouldn't spend any time wondering what happened to anyone or anything before we got there. We would just focus upon who we are and let it come to meet us, because that's always the way these energies work. Whatever your vibration is, everything around must acquiesce or go someplace else. It's just the way that it is. And if you spend any time trying to sort it and sift it and sort it and sift it, then you have that same difficulty that so many have when they're trying to sift out the rights and the wrongs of the world. Helpful?
Very. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, indeed.